Okay, so turn the pump off. I've got it plugged. As you can tell, I'm having to hold one side, the intake, because that will fall. The outtake is pretty good. It plugs really, really well. Can we see that? I hope so. It's not raining anymore, so it's sunny. It's hard to tell what you guys can see. So while I'm holding that, I'm gonna pull out this stuff, the cartridge and the little basket. Now that I've pulled that out, you can tell that's pretty nasty, right? And the little cartridge is pretty gross too. It's got leaves, dirt, all in it. So my next step is, how do I get that clean? I don't want that to go back in my pool. So got a little old bucket here. I am going to put that bucket underneath this and I'm going to drain it. So while that's draining, I'm still holding the other end. Just got my foot holding the bucket. It's draining. Looks like it's done, right? It's not done. So now that the water is out of the pump here, I can let go of my plug. The problem with the intake plug is it will not suction as long as there's water on both sides. So a lot of people say, oh, it falls off, it falls off. Yeah, it will, but you gotta hold it. And if you're only one person cleaning the pool like me, it's very hard to do all this and hold a camera. I've asked for a GoPro for my birthday for my husband. Hopefully I'll get that. If not, I'll buy it myself and then stick it to my forehead and you guys can watch me as I do everything without me having to hold the phone or the camera. So, next steps. It's dirty. It's dirty. I don't like it dirty. I want to clean that. So, I am going to twist off the bottom. I'm going to pull the water hose around and I'm going to clean it. Okay, so I've got the bottom off. Everything's taken apart. If these plugs fall, I'm going to have a hell of a mess. But I did this so many times, so I'm good. I put my bucket underneath there when I untwisted my pump. Now, all I'm going to do is rinse it off. Make sure, see, some leaves came out there. Just make sure it's cleaned off real good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the inside of this out real good. I'm going to just rinse it off. So now that's clean on the inside. This is where my washcloth comes into play. Got my washcloth. I'm just going to spray a tad bit of my filter cleaner stuff. Just on one end of my washcloth. And then I'm just going to clean the rim of it. That's usually from my oil and stuff, or, you know, if the pool's real dirty, I just clean that ring out. Clean the ring. Okay, so now I'm ready to put it back together. Okay, so now I have the bottom put back on. Guys, make sure you do it really tight back on there or you're gonna spring a leak and have a mess. But I'm doing this all by myself, so I'm able to do it. You can do it too. Make sure you have all your stuff plugged back in. Everything's good to go. Now, I'm just gonna come over here and get my clean filter. Now, I've been using this one for over a week, back and forth. This was a newer one. Then I've just been cleaning it. Like I said, I rotate. You're just going to put that back in there. Make sure your little basket, skimmer basket, is clean. Usually I just have to pat it off, but if it has nastiness in it, I may have to use a water hose. Now, let's make sure I don't spring a leak. We're going to unplug that one. Now I'm going to unplug that one. And usually I cannot tell if I have a leak until I get it started. I like to go ahead and put my little skimmer flipper back on here. It snaps back on, see there? Okay, I'm gonna walk over here and turn my pump back on. Okay guys, look. Top one, it says reset. That turns it on. The top one is test. That turns it off. Don't unplug it every single time. Like if it's raining, I will move my whole thing out of the way because if rain's coming onto the porch, I mean, I obviously don't want my electricity to get all plugged up or to get wet, and I don't want the electricity to get wet and blow it out for some reason. That would be just my luck, and then I'd have to buy a brand new pump again. Okay, so everything's back on. I don't see anything dripping or leaking, and my pump is running. See that nice clear water? Everything's running. I'm gonna put my chlorine stuff back in there, and put my lid back on because I'm not gonna be doing anything else in there. Now, the next step is, for me, is to clean that nasty mess off there, which is really easy, and I'll show you how to do that.